Okay, Paul Presley here, and I'm here with
Enid Cohen.
And for those of you that have followed the pro-host on Blog Talk Radio, and also she was on a Spreaker show from time to time, and she's going to be back on our new format that we have with the Host Pro. And this is Enid Cohen again, and how you doing? You glad to be back?
I'm doing fine. Be back, everybody.
All right. So what we're going to do today on the show is we got the Host Pro, which is a new format that I started, which involves having clips, but not a lot of heavy stuff. Just short and simple, sweet clips get you through the story. Seems to work out really good so far. So today we're going to do something that I call the mix, which I'm going to put music along with our news articles we got. What do you think of that?
I love it. I think music goes with everything.
And what could we use?
Country music.
Country music, because we like country.
Yes.
Now, for those of you fans that aren't country, that's okay. We're going to throw in a few weird ones from time to time.
Not that you're weird.
Not you're weird. The music's weird, but so anyway, we're going to try to mix. But we're going to talk about John F. Kennedy, because John F. Kennedy was a great president, even though I was young, and you were young too when he got shot.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about that in a minute. I've got mine and Enid's doctor now. She, our foot doctor and surgeon from Huntington Station, New York, Dr. William J. Weisinger. He's kind of my go-to guy, because this man can tell you a story. But they're not stories. He's very intelligent, and he reads a lot and studies a lot. And I'm a peon compared to him when it comes to smarts.
Oh, come on.
But we're gonna have him on there, and
he's wonderful.
Yeah, and he's gonna talk about JFK with his own little story about JFK, and we'll be right back in a second.
John F. Kennedy died at approximately 1 o'clock Central Standard Time today here in Dallas. He died of a gunshot wound in the brain. Dr. Berkeley told me it's a simple matter, Tom, of a bullet right through the head.
Okay, we're back. That was a sad day when Kennedy died, right?
Very sad.
Very, very sad. Yeah, and you heard a couple of clips that we just played for you about how the limousine just kind of fell off and nobody knew what was going on. They didn't even know he got shot. And then you heard a clip about the reporter was saying that what was going on. They were going to Parker Hospital. They phoned in ahead of time for that there was a shot. They didn't know if one of them got killed or all four of them in the car got killed. Connolly, his wife, Jack, or whatever. That'd been hell if all of them got killed.
Oh, I know.
That'd been the worst assassination in I think in history.
I think Kennedy being killed was one of the worst assassinations in history, because I loved him. Even though I never had a better sense of being an American as when Kennedy was president.
Yeah. So where were you at when Kennedy died?
Well, I was in the room with my brother and my mother. We were watching television. It was interrupted, and we were told that John F. Kennedy had been shot and killed. And we all burst into tears because we loved him.
Yeah, you said your mom loved him too.
Oh, my mom loved him so much.
He was a ladies' man.
Oh, yeah.
He was.
Oh, yeah. He was not only a brilliant man, he was a ladies' man.
Yeah.
The ladies loved him.
And I also got a clip in here that I haven't...
Children loved him, too.
Yeah, everybody loved him.
He was your dad, your lover, whatever.
Did your dogs love him?
I don't know.
Well,
I never asked them.
He probably figured that he loved puppies too. Should have got them involved.
I think I should have. I should have asked those little critters.
I got a clip that we haven't played yet that's coming up, and they stay outside the operating room because there's a lot of women and stuff, nurses and everybody around. And then they said that the women were crying. Some of them fainted when they found out that he died. Not that he was shot, but when they found out he actually died, they fainted. It was, oh, man, I don't know.
Now, Paul, where were you when Kennedy was shot?
At the bar? And no, I wasn't.
That was young. You were young. I mean,
12 years old. I'm from Tennessee, man. I had the booze and Jack Daniels and stuff in there.
Did you look old enough to go get a drink?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
I had a triple wig on. It was a
You didn't need a wig.
triple pompadour. No, I was actually, I'm not sure. I think it was the 22nd of November, I think it was. Whatever it was. We had people over for Thanksgiving off and on. We did that like for a whole week. So I'm not sure exactly what date it was, but we were doing Thanksgiving dinner. I had just got my food, my plate fixed, and my mom and dad, come on in, let's go. So we watched the end of something that my mom wanted. I think it was Perry Como, I think was on or something. And she him. And we switched the channel because we heard that they were going to show the president, and his motorcade and everything. And I had my plate, and I was eating turkey and everything. And I remember lifting my fork, putting turkey in my mouth, and they said that he was shot. And I just was like, did they say he was shot, Dad? He said, oh my God, President Kennedy's shot. I hope he don't die.
Such a shock to the world.
And my mom and my mom and my grandma, they were in a faint mode. They were hysterical about it too, so that was very bad. So we got a couple of your friends. Hopefully, we're going to get them on the show, giving their comments too.
Yes, we'll get that.
Not going to say any names now, but we're hoping we can get them.
That's right. We didn't ask them yet.
No, we're going to go out and munch on a steak or a hamburger later, and then kind of force them into it at dinner time.
Okay, maybe they'll go for it. And here they are. They went for it. Joanne and Phil Cufo, our friends, and here are their comments on President John Fitzgerald Kennedy.
Okay.
And I was at school.
No, start all over again.
Oh.
Who are you here with? Just.
Okay, we're here with our friends Joanne and Phil.
Okay.
Joanne, where were you when Kennedy was shot, President Kennedy?
I was at school when I heard that the president was shot, and I remember bursting out in tears, crying. It was very upsetting because everybody loved President Kennedy, and he seemed so young.
And caring. He was a caring president, wasn't he?
And he was a ladies' man.
Well, that wasn't why I was crying.
I found out later on.
Right.
Later on, she found that out. No.
Yeah.
Okay. And here we're here with Phil now. And Phil,
I thought we did this.
We did this, but yours didn't turn out. It's quiet now.
It's quiet.
So now you can just.
All right. So in 1963,
Yes.
I was 19. I was working in Plant 3, Grumman Aircraft, getting ready to have a snack or lunch. I don't remember exactly, but
Okay.
I was at their automated, like Horn and Harder type of eatery they had in the plant.
I saw those on the Food Network. Those were pretty cool.
All right, and basically I put my quarter in a machine to get a hamburger, 35 cents, whatever it was back then.
Right.
And everything went quiet. And they made an announcement that the president had been shot. And everything in the plant went to dead silence. All the machinery went off, all the men stopped working, and it was silence for about 10 minutes.
It must have been something to hear all of a sudden, just boom, all that stuff just stopped.
Everything stopped.
Wow.
Yep.
That's good.
I remember exactly where I was standing.
That's what it hit you hard. That's
Absolutely.
the way. Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, Phil. Thanks a lot, buddy. I appreciate it. Well, that was good. John and Phil were pretty good, weren't they?
Yes, really good. I like their input.
Yeah, we had a good meal too. That was nice talking over a meal, getting everything lined down. Thing is, with the restaurant, it was too noisy. We had to go inside the Walt Whitman Mall to do it, and everybody thought we were like working for Channel 12 or something. It was funny. Okay, now we got our favorite doctor coming up. Now you know who that is.
Oh yes, William J. Weisinger.
Yeah, and he's going to tell you his little comments about JFK and his theories. He has some good theories too. Okay, so here we go. Here's Dr. William J. Weisinger. And I made a mistake too at the first. I said he's from Huntington Station, New York. No, Huntington, New York. So Dr. William J. Weisinger, Huntington, New York. Okay? You can go see him and then go across to the bakery across the street and have a donut.
Okay, and what is he? He's head of podiatry at Huntington Hospital.
He's everything. He's my Andy Griffith.
He's everything.
He's everything. He's a good guy. Foot doctor, surgeon, kept me alive so far. Okay, here's William J. Weisinger and his comments on JFK. Right now, here we go. All right, get it done. JFK, how do you feel about JFK and what he did for us?
Well, he was shot.
You were young, though. You were like, what, 12 or something like that when he was shot?
I was sitting in an elementary school class, and the nuns came in, and the nun was crying. And she said, because it was a Catholic school.
Right.
And said the president was shot. It was like the world stopped.
Right.
It's unbelievable. But if you look at the films of that, they had those Zapruder films.
Right.
It's kind of interesting because they say the first shot was deflected off of the traffic light.
Oh, is that right?
Out of the window, yeah, and then it hit like a piece of cement. And then the second shot got him in the back, and of his neck or his back, and then I guess Governor Connolly, people didn't realize, wasn't sitting right in front of him. He was sitting in a jump seat, a little more towards the middle of the wing. So then it hit Governor Connolly and then went into his, I guess, thigh. And that was that funny bullet that, I don't know, I've hunted since I'm a little kid.
To find
when
a bullet?
you shoot something, the bullet, especially if it hits bone, looks pristine. That bullet looked kind of good. And they're saying that fit the Carcano, the rifle, the 1895 rifle that
Lee Harvey
Oswald was shooting. The third shot was kind of interesting because if you look at it, I've looked at that thing 100 times, they're saying he was hit through the back and it came out the front of his head.
Who was that, Kennedy?
Yeah.
Kennedy was hit in the back? Yeah.
Yeah, and it blew the side of his head off.
Right.
And if you look at that film, now Jack had a lot of issues, but when he was in that PT boat accident, apparently he had bad back, and he also had Addison's disease. He was taking steroids and stuff, and he was in a brace. He was like a spiker. So if you look at him, he always sat up like he graduated from West Point, but he was strapped in. He had this brace from his breast down to his waist. So when he was shot with the second shot, most normal people probably would have fell forward and into the bottom of the limo, and probably would have, I don't know if it would have saved his life, but it probably would have been an easier wound to take care of.
Right.
The third shot, which was interesting, hit him, they say, in the back and blew the side of his head off.
Right.
But if you hunt like the way I do, you shoot an animal, the animal doesn't lunge backwards.
Right.
The animal lunges forward.
Forward.
And if you look at that shot, it looks like he was hit in the front because he lunged backwards. That's the only explanation. Now I've seen all this stuff. They have laser stuff, and the latest thing is I think they showed that there was the FBI or the CIA that I think Secret Service were in the limo behind him.
Right.
And one of the guys is saying there was a book written about this, and it's kind of odd that he had one of the first, those nasty assault weapons. He had an M16. They were like just coming into vogue, and it was a full auto M16.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And in the seat of the car, and he heard the shot. Apparently, the Secret Service agent stood up, took the safety off the gun, and then I guess the guy who was driving the limo, when he saw the commotion, he knew the president was shot.
Right.
He stepped on the gas, and this guy lunged back, and he had his finger on the trigger. And they're saying that could have hit the president in the head, but still, why did he jolt backwards?
Right.
Because and if you look at a bullet from a 223, that's the M16.
Right.
That's kind of like a little bit bigger than a 22, and would that have like blown his head off that way? I don't know. I've shot 22s and even
I've shot 22s.
An AR-15, that nasty assault weapon.
Yeah.
I mean, it kind of like goes through you. It doesn't like, if you take a heavy caliber round, with a full metal jacket, like a 30-06 or something like that, that's going to like blow your head off.
Right.
You ever shoot a watermelon like with a deer gun?
I have.
Like a 30-30? I mean, it doesn't just, it like
all over
blows everything all over the place, right?
Exactly.
So I don't know. I mean, first of all, whether you like the president or not, there's a lot of people don't like the Kennedys. It's sad because he's, had a wife, he had a bunch of young kids, and it really changed the country.
Yeah.
I mean, before that happened to him, the United States was kind of innocent. And I remember even in the old days, you could have ordered a firearm in New York City through the mail, and it was sent to your house. Now, Governor Cuomo, you can't even order a piece of ammunition through the mail. You can't order anything through the mail, especially if it carries more than 2 shots. And they're trying to repeal that law. Not that he's such a great governor.
He's
trying to do that. But I mean, there's so much involved with that, and it's kind of funny if you've ever hunted. Like, I bought a a rifle one time. We thought we were going to go bear hunting in .338 Winchester Magnum. You know, it's a pretty big shell, right?
Yeah, it is. Big, big shell.
So, and we had a Zeiss scope hooked on it. This is like in the late 80s, a Remington 700 in stainless steel.
Right.
And we go up to Maine, and we took the guns with us because we never really went bear hunting. We just never had the opportunity to do it with a good friend of mine. We took an NRA target, a 100-yard target. You ever see the size of that target?
Yeah, I've
It's
seen
as
it.
tall as you.
Yeah.
And the bullseye is like, 4 inches across. And you set that thing out 100 yards, and then you come back and look at it. It looks like a postage stamp. It looks that big.
Right.
So you lay down on your belly, and we had like these little stands that made out of like wood with a little rubber band in the center of it, and you lay on your belly and you stick the barrel. You put the round in, and my friend is standing there with the field glasses. He says, "Okay, sucker, see what you're made out of, right?" I never fired a gun like that before. That's a pretty high-powered gun. But I got the Zeiss scope on it. I do that, and I squeeze the trigger. Bada boom! He looks at me. He goes, "You stink." He goes, "That's terrible. You didn't even get near the target." So he says, "Let's go look at the target." So we get up, get the dust off me, walked about 100 yards, look at the target. If you look at the bullseye, I made the hole like right in the upper corner of the black dot.
Well, you got close.
Close. I was right in the center, almost in the center of the bullseye. I was only off by a half an inch to the center.
Right.
He looks at me and goes, "I believe in a lone gunman."
I believe in the lone gunman.
He said, "If you can do that on the first round," he goes, "anybody can do it."
Yeah, exactly.
So it's kind of funny.
The hell with the grassy knoll guy, right?
Yeah, that even that, you wonder. I mean, that's kind of looks like, where he was. If you look at old stuff, like we have one guy in a practice was a reporter, a young reporter, in Dallas the day he was shot.
Wow.
And then he kind of was running around like when Jack Ruby killed Oswald and stuff.
Right.
And you look at all that stuff. Is that coincidental? Or,
Yeah, it seems like it was all set up, CIA or something.
It just seemed too. Like if you were writing a movie like Oliver Stone, you could like put all this stuff together. It's just too much.
It's like we were sitting at home. My dad saw that and he goes, somebody should just shoot Oswald and put him out of his misery. And here comes Ruby right behind. Boom! My dad goes, thank God.
And even Ruby was in prison for how long? Like I don't know, years. I think.
Years and years. Yeah.
And then he comes. Nobody was really. I don't know. Anybody ever interview him? I mean,
No,
I didn't see
cared.
Walter Cronkite go in and talk to him.
It was almost like Ruby was paid to Take the Fall.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
But I mean, in today's society, if somebody like that, did a murder, the most exciting murder in American history that really changed the country, how come there weren't like 18 different reporters going to his cell and trying to squeeze some information out of him?
Exactly.
Well,
trying to figure out who hired him to do all that.
Yeah. What was that?
Or
all
something.
About? Yeah. Well, what? I mean, the guy owns a strip club someplace in Dallas, and all of a sudden he's like killing Lee Harvey Oswald. Why?
Yeah. Well, it's like the guy in New York now that killed that waitress. Did you hear that yet?
Yeah.
They killed that waitress and everything, and she was screaming, "How?" Nobody came to his defense. He said yesterday, I wish somebody would just kill me and put me out of my misery because I'm tired of answering the same questions over and over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Now, see, that guy's pretty much a peon compared to Ruby.
Yeah.
And they ain't even saying nothing to Ruby. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, and there's so much stuff. And if you look at Oswald's life, I mean, he probably was a sympathizer with the communists. I mean, over to Russia, he married a Russian girl. Not that that's a bad thing, but at those times, that was like, no one went to Moscow. How to, and they have him on the street giving out pamphlets to, I guess he was trying to infiltrate the group that was trying to get rid of Castro.
Right.
Who knows if that was a ploy through the CIA? I mean, there's just so many tangents. I mean, I think they polled people and they said, well, how many people think that Lee Harvey Oswald was a lone guy? I think less than 50% of the people believe that that's the case.
So, as far as Kennedy as a president, what do you think?
Well, I think, do you ever listen to his inaugural address?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
We will defend any friend, will defeat any foe, let the word go forth. What political party would he belong to today?
Pretty much anybody.
Well, he probably wouldn't be, he wouldn't be a Democrat.
He wouldn't be a Democrat, no, that's
Right,
true.
and
Yeah.
he wasn't dating Monica Lewinsky. Jack.
That's true.
Jack probably had a good feel about young ladies, and he had a good feel about scotch. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The presidents today from his party don't seem to be, with that inclination. I think Jack was, he was probably socially liberal and probably financially kind of conservative.
Right.
With a lot of things.
Well, I have a my gun story, my hunting story. When I was little, my grandpa got me one of those air guns that has that cork in the center with the string that you got it goes pop like that.
Yeah.
So my grandpa and my dad went out deer hunting, and we're out in the camp and everything. And my grandpa goes, "What's that?" And my dad said, "I think it's a deer." So they're all stinking, and they tell me, "Stay by the tent, don't move." I go, "Okay, Dad, I'm 5 years old. What do I know?" So they go out there to see this deer, and I hear my grandpa talking to my dad. "Oh, the deer's over there. The deer's over there." So I hear the sound deer. Now I want to see a deer. I've never seen a deer close up. So I grab my little cork gun and I'm walking down through the woods behind everything. I get to the bush and everything, and I look up and I see the deer and everything. And my grandpa goes and says, "Okay, just take a beat on it, find a good shot, and just slowly pull the trigger." And boom, we got him. Everything. So my grandpa and my dad, and all of a sudden, my grandpa hears pop, and the deer takes off. He turns around, looks at me, and I'm standing there with the gun in my hand, the cork's hanging out. And he said, "You little sucker, why did you shoot that thing for?" I scared the deer off, so I saved the deer's life.
You're FOD.
That's it.
Friend of deer.
Friend of deer. So that was my gun story. So it was cool.
Well,
All right, thanks, Doc. I appreciate the story. All right, that was Dr. J. I call him Dr. Y. Y singer. I call him Dr. Y. He's cool. Anyway, what'd you think of that? His comments, his theories, and everything. He's got some great theories, don't he?
He's got some great theories. He's very enlightening.
Yeah. So anyway, we even got a grassy knoll theory coming up right after this, and you're going to hear this one guy is an FBI agent that's been trying to solve this for a long time, and he thinks he knows that it's not Lee Harvey Oswald that did it. That's his theory. Lee Harvey Oswald did not do it. So we'll be right back. Thank you, and stand by.
It appears as though something has happened in the motorcade route.
November 22nd, 1963. President John F. Kennedy is gunned down in Dallas. A crushing blow to the country and a personal affront to FBI agent Don Adams.
Oh, it shocked me. It devastated me. And I thought to myself, what did I do wrong?
Adams is retired, but still can't shake the assassination or investigation by the Warren Commission.
Nothing but a bunch of liars.
The Warren Commission determined that Lee Harvey Oswald fired the fatal shots from the Texas Book Depository. But Adams says the real person behind the plot isn't even mentioned in their report.
I know for a fact in my heart that these things happened.
Based on his service with the FBI and years researching National Archives, Don Adams says at best the Kennedy assassination is a massive failure to communicate between federal agencies and then cover up. At worst, it's conspiracy to commit murder.
It's embarrassing because I love the FBI. It's a great organization, best law enforcement agency in the business. But we also have to face facts and reality that there are bad people in this world.
The Army War veteran joined the agency in 1962. He was assigned to Thomasville, Georgia, where he began investigating Joseph Miltier, a name unfamiliar to many, but not the government.
He was reported to be one of the most violent men in the country.
A militant activist with ties to hate groups like the KKK. November 1963, an FBI informant named William Somerset said Miltier was threatening JFK.
Saying bad things about what they wanted to do to Kennedy.
Miltier frequently discussed assassinating President Kennedy. A threat was even captured on tape by Miami intelligence officers November 9th, 1963, just weeks before Dallas. Miltier is talking to Somerset.
Well, how the hell do you figure the best way would be to come out still with a high heart, right? And they're going to really try to kill him.
He describes smuggling a gun into the building.
Well, they always guns come out now. You take
It should have stopped the president from traveling instantly.
It didn't, and November 22nd, Miltier is photographed near the motorcade moments before the assassination.
They messed up, and all the other agencies messed up.
Is there any way Lee Harvey Oswald could have killed John F. Kennedy?
No. Had nothing to do with it.
Don says evidence he saw while stationed in Dallas proves it, beginning with the Spreaker film.
And all of a sudden I saw the president go like this with his hands. And I said, "Hell," I said, he was shot in the throat. The agent said to me, "Don, be careful what you say." And there were no shots from the front.
But Don says this photo shows a bullet hole through the windshield.
The very first thing that the doctor said was, "Hell, he was shot in the throat. That's a bullet hole." The minute that you have a frontal shot, Oswald can't be the shooter, because this came from the grassy knoll. And Oswald was in Texas School Book Depository.
The Warren Commission ruled that 3 shots were fired, but Don counted 11. And at the book depository, he wondered how Oswald did that in 7.5 seconds from a bolt-action rifle.
Because I was in Korea and I know what I'm talking about.
He also says, unbeknownst to many people, another weapon seen here was also recovered.
The first weapon they found in the building was a Mauser. And nobody ever discussed that.
Witnesses reported Oswald was in the lunchroom 4 floors down on the opposite side of the building drinking a Coke after the first shot.
No heavy perspiration or heavy breathing or anything. Couldn't have been done. It was impossible.
Afterward, while Oswald was arrested, Miltier was, quote, jubilant, bragging to Somerset, "You thought I was kidding when I said he would be killed from a window with a high-powered rifle." He told sources in the KKK, "Don't worry about Oswald. He doesn't know anything."
All this stuff bothers me.
Upsetting to many people. In 1976, the U.S. House of Representatives Select Committee on Assassinations was established. They determined a shot was fired from the grassy knoll and in summary believed, quote, "On the basis of evidence available, President Kennedy was probably assassinated as a result of a conspiracy, though they were unable to identify the other gunmen." Was Joseph Miltier involved or someone else? Don thinks time will tell, but it's also running out.
I mean, when we die off, when we're gone, there's not going to be anybody who's going to sit here and tell you these things. I hope the truth gets told, whatever it is.
Suzanne Stratford, Fox 8 News.
Okay, how'd you like the show?
I thought it was pretty good.
Are you happy to be back?
Yes, I'm happy to
Well,
be back.
she's here and she's staying. That's all there is to it. We'd like to thank 2 of our friends.
Joanne and Phil Cufo.
Cufo, yes. I will get that name right, I promise,
Okay.
eventually. I have a hard time remembering names. I know. No, she did. She's good. Okay, so we talked about
John Fitzgerald Kennedy, the horrible assassination of John Fitzgerald Kennedy in 1963.
right, and we had, like she said, Joel, and then we had my doctor, Dr. Weisinger. We had the FBI Don Adams guy, not the one in Get Smart, do his little thing and give his theory. And I think between the 2 theories, between my Dr. Weisinger and this FBI guy, I think we got the whole history thing covered. That's all there is to it. Okay, we got some good shows coming up. We got some music shows we're going to throw in here from time to time, and we're going to talk about what?
Some of the old cowboys.
Some of the old cowboys.
Clint Walker.
Clint Walker. We're going to do maybe
Roy
some
Rogers, Dale Evans.
and some Gene Autry, maybe, that type of deal coming up. And we're going to sign off right now. My name is Paul, the host pro.
And my name is Enid.
And she's the co-producer and comes up with the half of this stuff too. And we'll be right back on our next show. Just keep watching and then...
And y'all come back now.
You're here? Okay, thank you. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.